it's Jamie from Independent Street Tarot and Seasons of Ritual, and I'm here with my good friend Helen, the Crimson Cadaverous.
Hello.
And we're actually in the same spot.
Yes.
Yeah.
For once.
For once.
It's been a while.
It has been a while. It's nice to share the space.
I know, right?
Yeah. So this is a really big week.
Yes. Biggest week ever.
Biggest week.
We say that all the time.
I know. We need like something, but we're not good. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, just like from the top, we have the new moon.
Yes.
In Cancer on Monday. Mm-hmm. We're going to be changing seasons. It's going to go into Libra season.
Leo season.
That's what I mean.
Yep.
Leo season.
Don't get there yet. We're not quite there
Good
yet.
thing I do this for a living. And then nodes are changing.
Nodes are changing. Venus is stationing retrograde. Chiron is stationing retrograde. We've got a really powerful Cardinal Grand Cross that we're working with all week. So basically, if you feel like things have been stagnant, they're not going to be anymore.
No, mama.
Ready to put the big kid pants on.
Yes. Okay, so let's get into it. So this is for the week of the 17th through the 23rd.
Yes.
All right, so Monday is our new moon in Cancer.
Yes.
Okay.
So Cancer is the moon's home sign. So moon's kind of coming back home to herself, which is interesting because I always think of the Cancer new moon, new moons are a time for new beginnings, setting intentions, going within. I always see it as a time to kind of come back home to ourselves.
Yeah.
But I find that especially the case with this particular new moon because it happens on the same day that the nodes shift.
Okay.
And
the lunar nodes.
Yes,
we're talking about the lunar nodes.
The lunar nodes. And so that happens every 18 months. We kind of start like a collective and personal, different journey each time.
Taurus and Scorpio, you're out of the woods.
Thank God, I'm ready to be done with that.
Yeah. I know they were too.
Yes. But so we'll be the North Node will be moving into Aries, which is the sign of the self. So again, the home, with Cancer, coming back home to the self. And I think this is a really powerful time to set intentions based on what you actually want from yourself and your life versus this is what I'm supposed to do, or this is what someone else thinks,
That
whatever.
old story.
Yeah, this is about what do you want, what feels right to you, set those intentions, live that life.
Yes, and I will be doing a new nodes video.
Yeah.
New moon, new nodes video on
Yeah,
Monday.
it's interesting because we are starting a new lunar cycle, but also lunar node cycle.
Yeah.
At the same time.
And I do think it's really great that, like you said, Cancer is about the home, Aries is the beginning, and Cancer is ruled by the moon, and so it's a dark moon, but we'll talk about that later because we got a lot to get through.
Yes.
Okay.
What's interesting is that day sets the scene for something we're going to be working on the whole week, that Cardinal Grand Cross. So as those nodes move into Aries and Libra.
So can I interrupt you for a minute?
Sure.
So it's called a Cardinal Grand Cross because it's the Grand Cross in cardinal signs.
Yes.
Okay, keep going.
So we've got, first one is the Aries North Node, and then the Libra South Node. So those are the two opposing cardinal signs. And then that's also going to be squaring Pluto in Capricorn, had just moved back into Capricorn from Aquarius. And then also the moon, once the moon moves off of that 24 degrees with the sun to form the new moon, will move to 29 degrees and will form that Grand Cross. So we've got Cancer, Capricorn, Libra, and Aries.
Those are all your cardinal signs.
So that Grand Cross, we're actually going to be working that all week because we're going to start it with the moon, when the moon is in Cancer, but the moon's going to move out of Cancer, that story's going to go away. But all week we're going to be moving towards the Grand Cross that's going to involve the sun on Friday. So the sun is basically going to take the place of the moon and be at 29 degrees Cancer on Friday. And so we have the sun, Pluto, North Node, and South Node all in the Grand Cross at that point. Which is really interesting because, again, it's like this whole week kind of is like a crossroads of leaving old stories behind.
It's the initiation.
Right.
Yeah. And then when it gets to Friday and the sun comes in, that's where we start getting that confidence.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah, it's great. But I mean, we've got some other minor things throughout the week that I feel like are really kind of speaking to this story at all, or together. Like on Thursday, we've got Mars opposing Saturn. So it's like, almost like kind of like checking back in with our power and making sure that we're kind of in our power. together.
Yeah.
And like we're doing things again, like for ourselves versus like what we think we're supposed to be doing.
And
all of
also, Mars rules Aries.
Yes.
So, all right, let's get to Tuesday.
Yes.
Okay, Tuesday.
Tuesday's a really great day because we don't have a whole lot going on cosmically. And I think that's actually a really good day to kind of check in with ourselves after this huge shift that we've got going on Monday. Mm-hmm. All we have is the sextile from Sirius and Vesta the next day to the sun, or to the moon, who's now in Leo.
Okay.
So that basically Ceres is basically, you know, the nurturing energy.
Yeah,
and
she feeds us.
Yeah, and Vesta is our, you know, spiritual
Flame.
devotion. So yes, the flame within us. So it's like we're basically just checking back in with ourselves and taking care of ourselves that day.
And what's interesting is that they're in Libra and Vesta is in Gemini, which are 2 air signs.
Yes.
Yep. So there's going to be a lot of talking to ourselves. But make sure you bring in that moon who is in Leo, right? And that's the heart. That's that heart energy. So it's a good day to have that conversation with what nourishes now. What nourishes us now?
Yes.
And how can we bring that into balance? You know, what makes our heart feel good? And if you guys are too much in the head, put it in the heart because we need them working together. And I think that's that Vesta in Gemini. She's the one that balances out head and heart, especially Gemini, which is the twins. So.
Yes.
And remember, there's no duality. There's just options.
Yeah, exactly.
And I feel like, I don't know if you know this, but like, or not know this, but I feel like, you know, we watch different people on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, and they're always saying like Earth is, well, it was duality, but it was something like we have to have something opposing in order for us to make a decision or,
okay.
you know, kind of like.
There has to be an alternative decision. Yeah,
You know
for
what
there
I'm
to be a
saying?
decision to make.
Yeah, and so I'm not disagreeing with that, but also it doesn't have to be like, what's the word I'm thinking of? Like the worst ever. You know, like
Such
it
a
just
struggle.
Right. It doesn't have to be such a struggle.
Yeah.
So I just kind of wanted to go off on that tangent because I know I always say like ending duality, but I also feel like people are like, well, then how do I make a choice? We're comparison. Yeah, try to get out of comparing things, but also. I don't know. Like I'm like, hold on, I'm trying to get clarity about it. But is this idea like, oh, something presents itself, and then you have options on how you want to perceive it and move through it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a struggle.
No, it doesn't have to be a struggle. It can actually be a very empowering thing because you recognize you have the choices and you're making the choices.
Cheers to you.
Yes.
Okay. Wednesday. Moon is still in Leo.
Yes.
Okay.
And I feel like the big story on that day is that conjunction with Mercury and Lilith and the square with Jupiter and Uranus.
Okay.
Because again, the conjunction with Mercury is just, we're able to talk about things. We actually feel like we can talk about the things that are going on. And Lilith is like authenticity. So
Right.
she's like, we're saying the things that are true to us. You know, we're being true to ourselves. But then again, the square, you know, the squares are going to be a challenge. But again, challenges help us level up. The square with Jupiter is basically just expanding upon anything we know we need to like kind of be changing, what
Yeah.
needs to go.
Yeah.
And then Uranus is like telling us we got to do it different.
Yeah.
And we kind of know that.
We do know that. And the thing is, when these things come up, you know, we don't know. Like we always think, oh, maybe it could be this. But whatever presents itself is really the thing that it needs to be.
Yeah.
So it's really important that we observe, you know, and just say, okay, what is it that needs to happen? Because sometimes we know, sometimes things come out of the blue. And with Uranus, it's usually out of the blue in a sense, but it usually happens fast. It's like ripping that Band-Aid off. You
Yeah.
know? And so especially with that Mercury and Lilith conjunct the moon, I feel like it's this, we're going to be like, actually, I know what I'm worth.
Yeah.
And we're going to start speaking about it.
Yes, definitely our self-worth.
Yeah. Okay, Thursday.
Yes. Big story that day, like we talked about, was the Mars opposition to Saturn.
Here we come. We're back.
Yes.
Thursday.
So again, like that is us structuring ourselves in a way that we can be in our full power and like recognizing the things that have maybe, you know, kept us from our power, you know, kept us from being, you know, as strong as we need to be, We can kind of let that go away. But we also have the sun trining Neptune, which is such a beautiful energy.
Yeah.
I feel like that's just shining this like beautiful light down on our dreams, which is perfect because we're still kind of in the new moon energy, still kind of setting intentions. So I really feel like
resting.
Yeah, I really feel like that's an energy that allows us to like dream of things that like maybe we couldn't have even imagined before.
Yeah, and also, but maybe even touch into how I can get these done.
Yes.
Because Mars and Virgo gets things done. You know, and when they oppose each other, like we always say, well, even with a square, it's like a chess match,
Yes.
right? And so you would be like, why did I think that before? You know, and you kind of have to say like, oh, these were the reasons why.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like pushing against, but sometimes things come up and you're like, wait, I want to go around that. And you're like, why am I not going around that? And you're like, oh, because I told myself these things. So know that, you know, Pisces, the power of Pisces is letting things end immediately. So
Yes.
something new begins.
Right. Not dwelling on it, not letting the ego get in the way.
Right. Not letting the ego get the way, which is kind of think like how we haven't been taught about Pisces, you know, Pisces.
Yes. There's this idea that Pisces is wishy-washy, but really
Yeah.
Pisces just lets shit go.
Yeah, because
They're not clinging.
It needs to go. And if you are like, no, wait, I'm clingy Pisces, you don't have to be anymore.
Yes,
can
we
just
give
let it
you
go.
permission not to be.
Yeah. Okay, is there anything else you'd like to say about this?
Nope, I think that's good. We're definitely, you know, kind of moving into Friday though, because there's a lot going on there.
I see it. Okay, it's like this long. Okay, so Friday, the moon will be in Virgo.
Yes. And then the moon's actually going to make interactions with Mars and Saturn following up to that story the day before with Mars opposing Saturn. So moon's going to form a conjunction with Mars and
That's
opposition
good.
with Saturn.
Yeah.
Yep. And again, I feel like we're feeling powerful enough to approach these things, to, you know, place the boundaries we need to release whatever restrictions we've placed upon ourselves that are unnecessary.
Yeah.
We have that power now. We feel that power.
Yeah, I think too, like that Saturn and Pisces, right? It's just like you said it beautifully, like releasing those things, but also because that will make us feel more stable.
Yes.
If we're not carrying around this other bullshit, then we're like, oh wait, I've got two free hands,
Yes.
right? And so Pisces is bringing in the dream, you know. I don't know what I was gonna say, but
Yeah, bringing in the dream.
Yeah, thanks.
Not just living the dream, bringing in the dream.
bringing in the dream, right? And but like setting a boundary. That's what I was
Yes,
gonna say.
yes.
Sorry, guys. Setting
That's
a boundary.
Really important with Saturn and Pisces.
First
is
cup
that
of coffee
we
of the day.
learn
Sorry.
we learn in a way like our spiritual boundaries, but also like the boundaries that we place so we can be the best spiritual selves we
Right.
can be.
Right. Because, you know, again, Pisces is making those decisions and it's like it's time to let this go, right? And if Mars is saying, okay, well, how do you want to do that?
Right.
You can then figure it out.
Yes. And on that same day, we're obviously going to want that like power energy and like that discernment that comes from the opposition with Saturn, because we've got the peak of that grand cross that we were talking about. So this is when the sun moves to, and by the way, this grand cross is all at 29 degrees.
Ooh, that's good.
So this is
is
the
like-
aneretic degree, which
Right.
a degree of mastery, a
Right.
degree of closure. So it's like all these planets are going to be, their themes are going to be basically like pushing to a point of closure.
Right.
So in a way, like this grand cross is pushing us, you know, it's challenging us. Like I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There is a challenge
Yeah.
there from the universe.
Yeah.
But every single challenge is like, okay, are you ready to be done with that old story?
Yeah.
Are you ready for the new thing?
Right. Are you
And-
ready to catch yourself?
Right.
Maybe thinking that old story. I mean, oh, I
Right.
gotta let that go.
And
Yeah.
the resistance we're going to feel is if we're clinging to the old story.
Right.
You know, like if we're ready to move forward with things, I don't think we're going to feel resistance. I think the resistance is the challenge, like where it's like, okay, you're resisting this for a reason, you
Right.
know, but
And like,
don't you want to move forward?
right. And like, and then in that clarity could be like, oh, because I was always told this, or
Yeah.
oh, I read a book when I was 9. You know what I
Right.
mean? And it's like,
Yeah.
oh,
And again,
Yeah.
it's like, it's really powerful energies because, of course, it's the lunar nodes, which is like, you know, the things we're leaving behind, the things we're going towards.
they call them the nodes of fate.
Yes.
So
And the sun and Pluto.
Yeah.
And like, everything is serious with the sun and Pluto. The sun is that shining bright light that we all revolve around.
Yeah.
And Pluto is the depths of,
Well, they're the
galaxy.
exact opposite, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I mean, usually I see the sun as like jovial, quite honestly.
Right. But you know what? They both speak to truth.
Yes.
So that's what's interesting. It's like truth in the light and truth in the darkness.
Right, which then also kind of kills that story of like everything from the dark is bad, you know? And it's like, no, that's where creation comes from.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think, again, that's part of what we're leaving behind is this idea that, like, again, anything in the darkness is bad. And again, not everything that's in the light is good, So it's like
right. Like we're now seeing like how we've been fooled, and it's
Right.
all happened right in front of our eyes
Right.
with a lot of things.
because as much as we love the sun, if we spend too much time in it, we get burned. So, But again, this is like this grand cross. It's like we're kind of being pulled like 90-degree angles, like each
It's
side.
bringing in that crossroads, right? Crossroads center, and then getting that balance.
Yes, definitely. I feel like this is actually where we gain our balance, is when we actually quit resisting and, kind of
Surrender.
surrender to where we already know we need to be going.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key that I'm getting out of this is it's not going to be something that's like shocking to us. It's going to be like something we kind of just have to accept.
Yeah, like kind of an exhale.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Saturday, 22nd.
So the
Sun
the
enters
hits
Leo.
keep on coming.
Yeah. Sun. Now we're in Leo season.
Yeah, now we're in
okay?
Leo
so
season.
there's that more movement
Yes.
with this week. Okay.
Leo season, and then we also have Venus stationing retrograde, which is also in Leo, so I like that.
Yeah.
I feel like and Leo is very heart-based energy, so it's like whatever we're reflecting upon, which is all we're doing during retrogrades. Our life isn't falling apart during a retrograde. It's just a
No.
reflection period.
Yeah.
Whatever we're reflecting on is heart-based things. So
Stuff that we believe in.
as long as we're doing things from the heart, there isn't anything to worry about during this time period. It's like it's a learning period. We are,
Yeah. And
delving
so-
into parts of ourselves.
Yeah, and so things that aren't from the heart, we're gonna see very well.
Yes.
Not only from ourselves, and not like a scary way, but like out there in the public too.
Yes.
We're gonna start seeing that.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. I was going to take a drink of water. Okay. Copy. Okay. So also on Saturday, the moon in Virgo, which
Yes.
is, gets things done. It's trining Uranus and Taurus.
Yes.
And it's also trying Pluto and Capricorn.
Yes.
Yeah.
So again, all these things that we're changing, all these things that we're transforming, it's just we're letting it flow.
Right. And I would say this too, that moon in Virgo, trining Uranus and Taurus. Taurus is money.
Yes.
Taurus is practicality. And then Pluto and Capricorn. Capricorn is money. Capricorn
Yes.
is the way we work.
Yes.
And so it's like being blown up in a good way.
It's like working smarter, not harder.
Right. And like seeing like things are changing. It's like the falling of the old guard.
Yes. There's a
So-
lot of that going on.
Yeah. And
I mean, I feel like if you're about progress and you're about transforming, this is going to feel like a great week. If you're trying to hold it back, if you're trying to cling,
yeah, it's going to be tough.
it's going to be a little rough.
Right. And you guys, you can ask yourself this, where are the spots that what am I clinging on to so I can see how to release it in order to move forward? You guys, you
Yeah.
can set that intention with this week, right? And it doesn't have to be like, but, I'm probably going to set that intention to see the spots because, I think we do this for a living, but like pretty good at it. At the same time, it's good to see, get all bases covered. Okay, is there anything else you want to say about Saturday?
I think we're good on Saturday.
Okay, Sunday, the moon will finally get out of Virgo and move into Libra.
Yes.
Okay, and
Same day we've got the Chiron, not the Chiron, we've got Chiron
I know.
stationing retrograde. And again, that's just a reflective period. Chiron is a great healer.
Yeah.
So there's things we're kind of healing through our reflections.
And do you think, and I didn't look this up, but when Chiron retrogrades, is there a difference?
I feel like that we kind of turn within during that time period.
It's more turning within, okay.
Yeah. So like we might be like trying to heal the wounds, collectively or, with the environment around us before, but definitely we're trying to heal from within once Chiron has stationed retrograde.
And you guys, I really feel like with this whole week, the more we surrender, the easier we're going to see like how we just show up authentically and we move into this new energy.
Yeah.
I really do. That's what's coming through really fast.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we've got Mercury squaring Uranus on that day. And I feel like that really is challenging us to write new narratives.
Yeah.
To tell ourselves better stories, to, you
Because
know.
Mercury is in Leo.
Right.
It's now Leo season. That's our solar plexus. That's Leo's ruled by the sun. You know, that's our strength. That's our
Yes.
self-esteem. You know, so it is time. It is squaring Uranus and Taurus, and it's saying, come on, man, let's figure out this new narrative. Let's do this. I know my self-worth. And also, Taurus is ruled by Venus,
Yeah.
who's retrograde in Leo.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's a lot of good energy there, you guys. That's a lot of good energy.
Yes.
Don't be scared of the square.
No, I feel like all of this basically is just like, kind of like almost like a coach, like trying to like tell us like, you can do better. Come on, you know, like kind of just pushing us to just be better versions of ourselves. And it's not really anything to be afraid of. It's just like, take the challenge.
Yeah, take the challenge. And if you guys need help with this, you can always reach out to me or Helen to help you with this, right? Like, because we know you can do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so if you want to get in touch with us, you can always get in touch with Helen via her Instagram, The Crimson Cadaverous, and you can get in touch with me via, or yeah, so you can get in touch with you with your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And you can get in touch with me YouTube or the websites or also the Instagram. So big week.
Yes.
Big shifts, you guys, big shifts. The harder you're holding on to something, that's what you kind of need to look at.
Just
and
let it go.
Let it go. See what happens. And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised how well you start to move through things and things just start, I want to say like just like showing up when you're going to start getting this new, rhythm in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And especially with that Chiron stationing retrograde going in and just being with yourself, and even if you're telling yourself, how long is it going to retrograde for?
I think several months actually.
Okay,
so so we've got some time to reflect on this energy.
Okay, good. All right, friends. Thanks, Helen, for coming over.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we will see you next week, and you'll be seeing a lot of me this week because it's a big week, so I'll probably be doing a few more videos.
Yep.
Okay. All right, till next time.
Bye-bye.